So in this demonstration, I'm going to be doing another very useful technique for getting the center of your coin before punching. Again, we're going to be focusing on the clear top die punches. We're going to have to do a little bit of math on this, and believe me, I'm not good at math, but this is actually pretty simple. So what you're going to need is your clear top die punch, your coin, calipers, and a pin, and a calculator if you suck at math like I do. So I just use my phone. So we're going to set this over here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be measuring. In this case, I have a half crown I'm going to be making into a coin ring, so this is going to be a bit larger in size of a ring. So I'm going to be using this die punch, which is the 1/2 inch punch, which would go here on our die. So basically what we want to do is get this circle, that same size circle, onto the coin. So when the coin is finally put into the punch, that circle is going to line up with, you can't see it from there, dang it. It's going to line up. It's going to line up with the 1/2 inch punch. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, so now we have our 1/2 crown and we have the die punch that we've decided to use. I'm using a 1/2 inch because this coin ring is going to be a size 10, and it's a larger size coin, so I'm going to take out a little bit more of the center than I normally would. So I'm going to be working with this 1/2 inch. But to get my little circle template dead center, the way I'm going to do this is with some math. So I'm using a 1/2 inch. If you're using something else, this will apply to that as well. So we need our calipers. I'm using inches, so the first thing that I'm going to measure would be my 1/2 crown. I actually already know what the diameter of this is, but we're going to measure it just for the point of the video. So it's 1.274, so it's 1 inch, 0.274. That is the diameter in inches of this 1/2 crown. Okay, so we've got that. The next thing we want to do is this. We know it's a 1/2 inch, and normally these dies are just a little bit under, so this comes up at 0.495, so we round that up to a 1/2 inch, which it is. It's a 1/2 inch die punch. So now we have those two numbers, and make sure you've written them down. So we've written down the number, or the diameter of our coin, and we've written down the diameter of our punch. So the diameter of our 1/2 crown is 1.274, okay? And the diameter of our die is a 1/2 inch, so 0.5. Now the way we're going to do that with math is we're going to take our calculators. We're going to type in it's not showing on the video, sorry. I'm using my phone. 1.274. Can you see that or not? I'm hoping so. Okay, so there we go. 1.274. So we're going to subtract 0.5, and that makes 0.774. So top left is our coin, 0.5 is our die, and then we subtract that and we have 0.774. The next thing we're going to do is divide that by 2. So the number that we're left with is 0.387. You see that? 0.387. We actually want to round that number up. I'm going to round that number up to 0.4. And the reason is when you mark a coin with a pin, I like to use these fine point Sharpies. When we mark them, they're always going to be on the outside, no matter what we do. So if we have this, and we just did it freehand, or however we marked it, even with the calipers, it's going to be outside the actual diameter. So what I do is I round it up just a tiny bit, and that brings in the circle, so when I do put it in the die punch, it actually is, you can see it, and it lines up with the actual die punch. And the reason we divide it by 2 is very simple, and I'll explain it, is what we're doing is we're taking this, this punch, which would be in the center, and if we didn't divide that, we just have basically a straight line. So dividing that by 2 is giving us this, and giving us this, and leaving us with the diameter of the die punch dead center. And as I said, by rounding it up, we're left with it being just a bit inside, which would be visible in our clear top die punch. Now the way I put the lines on is exactly the same way I showed in the other videos. So we would take 0.4 on our calipers, and this is of course for demonstration right now, but we'd take 0.4 and we'd lock that in. We'd lock in, it's not 0.4, but we'd get it to 0.4. That'll work. We go around, we draw lines until we're left with that. Now I've already gone ahead and done that on the half crown, as you can see. So what you're seeing on the half crown is a perfectly centered hole. This is dead center, and I know this because I've measured it. So we have a perfectly dead center hole here, and then I took my center finder tool as well and I marked it with 2 crosshairs that I can make sure that it is dead center, because this is our dead center here. But for having a guide to slide this into our die punch, we just want to punch out this part right here. If you're using a handsaw, same principle, just drill a small guide hole here and then use your handsaw and cut that out, or drill it if you're using a drill. But for the sake of the die punch, that's what we're doing. Okay, so the next step would be to put it into your die punch, which is just basically by sliding it in. And I do need to note that when I use a die punch, I always put a piece of leather underneath the coin, every time. And since I'm just doing a demonstration, I'm not doing that right now. So we would slide that in, and see how that black line is just lined up perfectly with the die punch hole. That is dead center. So the next thing you would do, you put in your die. There you go. Alright, well, if I didn't explain that very well in the video, of course I'm going to have it on my blog, which would be posted tonight, so I'll definitely make sure to write it out so you can follow along with it being written, and then you've got the video just for kind of a visual reference as always. So that's how we do it. It'd be the same for any coin, no matter what its diameter is. If it's a smaller coin, same method. If it's a drill bit, if it's a die punch, same exact thing. Measure the diameter of your punch or your drill bit, and you're good to go. And this will give you a perfectly centered hole. Just remember to put a piece of leather underneath the coin, and when you strike it as hard as you can, because you don't want it to bounce and move, because that's the most common thing that happens with these die punches and why I hate them. But anyways, there you go. There's a tip on how to get a perfectly centered guide hole for your clear top die punch. Thanks for watching.